Welcome to CareFlite's 30th anniversary celebration. It's a privilege and a pleasure to have everyone here. It's our habit every year to give great first responder awards at the CareFlite Emergency Care Update Conference. And so tonight we're going to give some great first responder awards.
Today is a great day, and I'm really proud to be here to be a part of it. Success to us is having safe, quality patient care in the environments that you work in.
Truman Duncan suffered what is an unbelievable experience. Truman's going to say a couple words to us because we don't often get the opportunity to hear directly and in person from those people whose lives and families we directly impact.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for CareFlite. I got my boy here, I wouldn't be able to visit with him, you know, if it wasn't for y'all. I wouldn't got to see my son graduate 2 weeks ago if it wasn't for y'all.
Thank you for putting the care in CareFlite for 30 years.
In the late 1970s, the CEO at that time, who was Bill Parisi at Methodist Hospital in Dallas here, and myself had a number of discussions about things that we might work on cooperatively. He had been studying the air ambulance program that was sponsored by Herman Hospital in Houston that was already in existence. And he raised that as a possible joint effort that we might work on together.
It was built around that concept of how do we provide a service like this to our community that's available all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I think the people and the equipment and the concept and the mission all come together around CareFlite. So it really is a vital asset to our community in terms of emergency service.
When you look at an area like the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in North Texas and the amount of people that are concentrated in this area, having good emergency access and good first responder systems is critical. And when we talk about that golden hour and the fact that because of the wonderful service that CareFlite and its wonderful team of employees offers, then our residents can be assured that were there a major accident or a major health need, that these folks have immediate access within that golden hour to one of the major trauma facilities.
CareFlite and first responders in general get the patients to us. We need to have the patients to us in the first golden hour if we can, and certainly need to have them transported in the safest possible manner. Many of these are victims of trauma and injury of all sorts, and we can do a lot now that we couldn't do just a few years ago if we can get the patients to us safely. And so CareFlite is just amazingly important to that whole process. It's the front end.
One of the most important things to ensure a good continuum of care in a healthcare setting is that collaborativeness between teams. And many times when you can achieve that internally, but you add an external component, it can be quite confusing. I commend the work that CareFlite does because I've never seen a group of professionals work so cohesively with our team to ensure that we're delivering the best care.
When you see the CareFlite crew coming down that hallway, you have that same sense of security. And that is, these people have done this before, these people know what to expect best as possible, and there is a calmness about them. There is a calmness in what most would consider a storm. And they're amazing. And until you see it, until you realize it, you don't understand that impact. But at the end of the day, when the life is saved, you understand it, and it makes all the difference.
I'd like to say thank you to all the employees of CareFlite, current and past and future, for what they do for my city, for Arlington, and what they did for me personally.
As I watch the CareFlite helicopter rise from our roof with the backdrop of the cross of Methodist Dallas Medical Center, I'm reminded of the healing and hope that they provide every day. So on behalf of the Methodist Health System and all of our staff, we wish you CareFlite a very happy 30th anniversary.
On behalf of everyone from Texas Health Resources, we want to congratulate you for 30 years, 3 decades of service to the North Texas area. To the CareFlite employees, you are true healthcare professionals and heroes.
And on behalf of the Baylor Healthcare System and our entire healthcare team, we want to take this opportunity to congratulate CareFlite, the entire CareFlite team, your wonderful work that you do, and to say thank you on this year's celebration of 30 years of service to the region.
So thank you for your efforts, and thank you, CareFlite, all the employees that make it possible, from answering the phone to first responders to administrators and everybody in between. You've made a difference to this community, and for that, we all thank you.
We kind of coincide. 30 years of your work has been about what I've done here as a CEO at Parkland. So I've seen, the creation of CareFlite, and I've seen its organizational days, and I've seen its maintenance days, and I've seen what it's done. But its best days are ahead, I hope, because of people like you, people who give so much to this community. And I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Parkland.
Critical moments. A legacy of caring. Moving at the speed of life.
CareFlite was the result of a group of visionary leaders at local hospitals which competed, and in the late 70s, these hospitals got together and decided that we ought to have a joint use air medical program, and so CareFlite became the first joint use air medical program. CareFlite's a very unusual program in that it offers everything from wheelchair vans to move people who have mobility impairment, all the way through 911, non-emergency ground ambulance transports, fixed-wing air ambulance services, helicopter EMS.
CareFlite operates in a unique partnership with 5 not-for-profit healthcare systems: the Baylor Healthcare System, JPS Health Network, Methodist Health System, Parkland Hospital and Health System, and Texas Health Resources.
The uniqueness of CareFlite is that there are 5 hospital systems that have come together to support this community through the resources provided by CareFlite. And you won't find that anywhere else.
This is far beyond what state requirements are for delivery of health care. There's no mandate that you have to have an air medical service. The guys who envisioned this 30 years ago clearly saw a need and thought, this is pretty good, we'll hospital base it and we'll put this thing on and see what happens. CareFlite, if you listen to the radio, is not a noun, it's a verb. Patients are CareFlighted here, patients are CareFlighted there.
The staff of CareFlite do side-by-side training with the medical staff, the CRNAs, and it limits the risk and provides for a safer EMS system.
We have a very concentrated number of trauma centers that are primarily in the downtown area, for lack of a better term. So all these expanding suburban areas have to get trauma patients into us. So clearly, air is the way to move a good percentage of these people.
I think that when people see CareFlite, they know that help is on the way. They know that help is on the way. Not only is it help on the way, but it's a quality of help that no other system can provide.
In 1994, CareFlite's quality of help made a life-changing difference to Robert Clunk.
I had a very active practice of OB-GYN. I was extremely happy. I had 6 partners. We just really enjoyed our jobs. And age 55 on my birthday, or a couple of days before my birthday, I bought a Harley. Never had seen one, never had ridden one, and I had some friends that had Harleys in my neighborhood. So on Sunday, on my birthday, March 20th, 1994, we took out on a ride. And I should have known at the very first second that this was going to be a tough ride because I couldn't get out of my driveway. I was hitting the curb. I couldn't control it very well. I went up a hill and a curve and didn't complete the curve. And I ran into some gravel, hit a guardrail, knocked off the bike, back down on top of the steel guardrail that really severely slashed my shoulder. When I was about to hit that guardrail, the last thought I had was, I was dumb. There's no reason I ought to be here riding a motorcycle. And again, that's about the last thought I had. It was almost a fatality. Keep thinking about that. I felt a thumping in my chest, woke up, and was really happy to see that big helicopter come down. Out of consciousness again. Next thing I remember was being on the helicopter, and I remember the medic that was back there with me talked to the pilot on the radio and said, "I don't think this guy's going to make it." And I kind of looked around to see if somebody else was on the plane with me. There wasn't. Pretty bad sign. My wife was there waiting for me because they'd called ahead. And she tells the rest of the story that they showed her my arm, which was basically severed, and took me to surgery, gave a massive amount of blood. And next thing I remember is waking up a few days later, I suppose, in ICU with a breathing tube. The rest of it was recovery, which took 2 years basically. And I could do nothing with my right arm. It's paralyzed to start off with because of a stretch injury and the big nerve. But I was sure I was going to come back and go back to practice again. Didn't happen. But I tell you, the best part of that whole story is CareFlite. Having the feeling, the thumping feeling that they were coming to my rescue, because I really thought I was going to die, and everybody else did also. I felt like I had a chance to live, and I think otherwise I would have died right there. And I think I would have died in just a few minutes because of the massive bleeding that I had. And it was just kind of a savior to me. I knew then there was hope. I didn't want to die. You know, for some reason, CareFlite flies right over my house. And every time they do that, I flash back to what happened to me. And I thank God bless them for what they're doing.
It takes somebody who's willing, A, to probably work for less than they would in the outside world, that has a pride, not in a name or an aircraft, but a pride in what we do does impact the patient. If they didn't know that, if they didn't believe that very gutturally, they would probably say, I'm not sure this is any different than anything else. But these people believe in what they do does impact patient care, and boy, it shows in the end product.
CareFlite's excellent patient care and compassion for the patient's family changed Sheila Elliott's life.
Colby was born with a congenital heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It's where the left side of his heart didn't develop. And he was in a lethal heart rhythm that was causing him to have bigeminy PVCs. He was diagnosed with a coarctation of the aorta, which actually became it was an aneurysm. And we were being sent to Houston for surgery. On that airplane, I met two crew members, a flight nurse and a flight paramedic, and they took amazing care of my son. They were affectionate, they played with him, they not only eased his nerves at 18 months of age, they eased mine. So they took care of my baby and they took care of me at the same time. I became good friends with the crew and still am to this day, and I currently work for the company that took care of my son. Our journey with Colby isn't over. I mean, I get asked a lot, what's our outcome? What's the prognosis for him? And it's hard because we don't know. We've been told he'll need a heart transplant at some point. He's at a high risk for sudden cardiac arrest. And that in itself was one of the reasons why I wanted to become a paramedic. I wanted to know what to do so I could save him. I look at my son and I look at him to see how he was helped through CareFlite, and that passion that was given to him, it helps me be a better paramedic so I can help other people. And not only do I focus on my patient, but I focus on the family members as well. When CareFlite transported my son, they left a piece of themselves behind with me. It was the compassion, the peace that they left me with, and I pass that along to my patients. I leave a piece of me with them.
They have a very passionate way in caring for people. They know that they're an extension of the caring nature of the hospital systems, and they exhibit that.
When electrician Eddie Welker was badly injured on the job near Wichita Falls, a CareFlite team did what it took to keep him alive when every moment counted.
They told me that they were getting him ready to go, and they had already told me, the CareFlite attendants had already told me that I could go. They were taking me. They did not tell me why, but they were letting me go. Later on I found out it was because they weren't sure he was even going to make it to Dallas. All at once the doctor there in Wichita Falls came out and he told me, he said, things are going bad, he's not going to make it. And I said, yes he is, just keep working. And at this time, I didn't know it at the time. This is when Gary and Teresa started working on him, and pretty much just finally got it through to the doctors that they were going to do it.
He wasn't doing well. He probably wasn't supposed to survive that right there. And once we kind of got talking to the doctor and got him convinced that he needed to put down his throat, there was some arguments for a while. And finally, once that he determined that we weren't going to stop, he kind of moved out of our way. Once we left there, I think Teresa and I both got outside and talked, and we really didn't expect him to live at all. And that's one of the reasons why we took his wife with us. As a norm, we don't carry family members. But I guess if you want to say goodbye, that's the best way to do it.
They did what it took to save his life, and they got him stable, and they said, let's go. I can't say enough about him. Eddie would not be here. No. He would not be here today if they hadn't been there. Even though he didn't remember it, and even though he didn't know what he was going on, their main concern was to keep him comfortable and to keep him alive till we got to Parkland, and they did it. And I would turn around and they would say, he's okay, he's still okay. And I knew it wasn't that he was okay. What they were telling me was he's still alive. We landed. Of course, I'm immediately trying to get out, and I remember David grabbing me and saying, wait, we gotta, let it slow down. And he said, I will get you through all this. David waited with me, and of course I was right with Eddie. They let me walk with him, but he made sure that one of our boys and one of our daughters was there with me before he ever left me. So that's what I mean, they have so much compassion, even for the family too.
I've always liked race car, NASCAR, drag racing, done it back when I was a teenager. And we come down here and, I got watching it and everything, and I thought, well, that can't be that hard.
Eddie's always had a drive from the word go, and I've always encouraged him because, like he said, you can only mow the yard so much, and you sit around, and that's when the depression sets in. Sometimes it's the OTs, occupational therapists, will call him from Parkland. They've called Eddie to come back there. He's wonderful. He'll go in and talk to them, and he knows what they're going through. He's been there.
Yeah, it's just my small way of giving back. Because like Linda said, I know what they're going through, and they don't know what's ahead of them at all. Just be thankful you're still alive, and that's what I look at. Yeah, I was burned up, but hey, I'm still here, and I'm still kicking, and I'm ready to go racing. I thank God every day that I'm still alive, and CareFlite and everybody, and Linda that's helped me and brought me through all this. I couldn't have done it without them.
This is a very dynamic organization, which is not about an aircraft. It's about a whole bunch of people who want to really take care of people. And oh, by the way, we're going to fly you to get you there. My job as CareFlite medical director is not a job. This was an honor that was offered to me. And of all the things professionally that I've done, this is the one that I cherish the most. This one drives me daily. This is good stuff.
Our job is to extend that care within the area of roughly 150 miles around DFW Airport to make sure that the highest quality medical transportation is available even in the smallest remote rural communities.
It's a team effort by a lot of really quality people who care about what they do, and they realize that it's a gift that they have to be able to care for others, that when moments count, I want someone who can be there for me or my family members, who can get us to that doctor or to that hospital for safe care.